We're live.
For values of live.
Well, yes.
I was going to say, I don't know if live is really where we're at today.
Live relative to, well, we're not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
I'm on the right side of the ground to be here, but
Above dirt.
above the dirt.
We are above the dirt.
And I'm not going spelunking. So,
Above the dirt does not mean the same thing if you're in Baton Rouge, because most people are above the dirt there. Even when they're dead. So. And if they're not above the dirt, they will be soon, because groundwater just pushes you right back up.
It's funny, when you were in Baton Rouge, I was reading the Monster Hunter memoirs, 2 and 3, the Chad books, which is set in New Orleans.
Yep.
And I was amused because I knew you were down there visiting, and here I am reading about monsters in New Orleans.
Well, I wasn't in New Orleans. I was in Baton Rouge.
Well,
but
closer than here.
It was Baton Rouge is a very old city, and I was full of amazing food. And oh my god, their fast food makes ours look like prison slop. So it was normalcy is being able to watch the stream. Wow, I feel sorry for you, Tiffany.
Oh, I know what's going on in Tiffany's life. I get where she's coming from.
I guess it's a good thing that we can all be here.
Yeah.
Above the dirt somewhat.
We are.
One more day above the roses, which is actually the name of my theme song. So,
Well, give a theme song.
I have a theme song.
Really?
I did. I chose a theme song because I needed a theme song.
My writing students gave me a theme song.
No.
Yes.
Was it the Darth Vader march?
Yes. Because invariably I'd come striding in right at the beginning of writing group, and they would one guy would hit his phone and they would play the death march. Really, guys? Really?
Oh, yeah.
I was usually dressed in black because I had to work theater, and so. Oh my god. So, do you have a theme song?
I do not have a theme song, but I'm amused that Dawn is saying there are men coming tomorrow, and she's very excited.
I know why. Sure? Because I know why they're coming tomorrow, and she should be excited. But it's
yes, but I can take this delightfully out of context.
Can I get on that list? But if it's only the men, I'm not on board for that.
No.
Fine.
Oh, no, I don't have a theme song. I mean, I will say I've been listening to some really, there's a playlist on YouTube called, I think it's like Revenge of the Contrabass. And it's like this really great mood cello music. And I that one was, I've been listening to that a lot recently while I'm writing. So it works well for writing Chloe, which is what I've been doing. So, but my mood music changes. It really depends on my mood, but also what I'm writing and the mood I want to be in.
So when you think of certain times of your life, like when you were younger, are there certain songs that define those eras for you?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I know that college the first time around from about, 18 to 20, the song Flood. Can't remember the name of the group. Jars of Clay. Jars of Clay's Flood. I listened to that thing more than I should have. Very emo.
It makes so much sense though. Like I know exactly what song that is.
Yeah. Christian rock. But I mean, later in my life with the kids and everything, a lot of VeggieTales.
Here's my
spider brush.
You know what? I missed the whole VeggieTales adventure.
Well,
I love that you guys start singing the same song.
Silly Songs with Larry is the highlight of those. I mean,
I didn't have VeggieTales. I had Barney.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And we have the scriptwriter from Barney in North Texas Troublemakers.
Yes.
Which he's apologized profusely for the trauma I suffered.
Yeah.
But he had to pay bills, and I can forgive him for that.
I totally understand.
I mean, hey, if you're going to shove a bunch of money at me, I'll write that. kind of thing.
Well, VeggieTales
Right,
was
what's that?
I started watching them while I was babysitting, and it was fun. And then they did the dance of the cucumber. I was in Spanish, and so I performed it for my Spanish class and got extra credit.
See,
And
okay. Okay, my youthful songs that I remember are all Schoolhouse Rock
Mhm.
because that's
Which
what
is
I
awesome.
I grew up with. That all came out when I was a kid. The
Oh, yeah.
Schoolhouse Rock, and we were supposed to memorize. And I remember this distinctly in 5th grade. We had to memorize the preamble to the Constitution,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Oh, I already know that." You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
'Cause I
Yeah.
just sung it. There it was, Declaration of Independence. I just sung it. You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
so yeah.
Yes.
And then there's Aerosmith before they got sober.
when they were fun.
So,
There's things that are just certain parts of my life, and
Yeah.
Well, and I would have to say that now-ish, the last few years, isn't a song, but it's kind of an aesthetic, postmodern jukebox.
oh, I love postmodern juke. Yeah.
And because I just
so much
really
fun.
enjoy the vintage stylings,
Mhm.
and yeah, so that's been a thing that I listen to a lot. If I'm gonna like seek out music, either them or I've been playing this one a lot. In Hell, I'll Be in Good Company by Dead South.
Yep.
Yeah,
I do like them. I just
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
It's interesting how different songs they'll come on, and all of a sudden there you are, 17 again. You know, and it's such a definition of time frame and feeling and.
Kokomo will take me right back to being 12
Oh,
with the silver
12.
apple.
Oh,
With the- I have no idea when it came out, but that
God.
particular year with the Civil Air Patrol, anytime we did a road trip, that particular song got played. And I learned to sing along with it. I had no idea what the lyrics were, so I'm sure I was butchering it badly, but
James Bond takes the James Bond theme, particularly Live and Let Die, takes me back to my senior year of high school.
Oh,
And
thank God you picked that year.
so like
Because I know it came out a lot.
Oh yeah, no.
It was so.
We
man.
played it as part for our marching band.
Oh, it's
And,
fabulous marching band song.
Like I don't remember, like it doesn't take me back to being in my uniform. It takes me back to being in the shorts and the t-shirt and carrying the two phones
yes,
and drenched in sweat and just
Yes.
having like this. That was the best.
oh, but it's got the best transition.
Oh
And
my
it's
God.
just so cool. That's such a wonderful song to play.
Mhm.
So
And I'm going, and that's why we started at the sousaphone, started at the front of the field, and had to go to the entire back of the field backwards.
Oh, great!
In the middle of that transition, like because we got it got really slow. It hits that beat, and then off it goes, and we're like hauling ass backwards.
Yeah,
and it was so much fun.
yeah.
And
It just it reminds you of those moments of like, Boston.
Michael Cowsbeak says, "Love the laughter," and honestly, we were talking about this before we got started because there's a lot of stress and anxiety, and we were all talking about how the fact that we're having to really fight hard to find the joy right now because
things are very stressful.
Yeah,
in a number of different
all the way
directions.
around.
Yeah,
and so I think it's worth fighting for.
Yep.
Just find ways to get ourselves to laugh. And
yes.
Yeah.
Our stand up front look pretty guy was all wound up today, and he's got a lot going on. And I think it's just he was wound up in that direction because he couldn't be wound up in other directions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was like, he walked into the shop and laid this giant anxiety turd in the middle of my shop.
There was a mental image I did not need.
And I was like, stop it. I mean, I just was like, quit it.
Yeah.
You know, because he was trying to refocus because he does have some stuff going on that's not pretty.
Yeah.
But which is resolvable. But we just have our pile runneth high right now. And I just didn't need more piles around the shop.
Yeah.
So
It's just
so we're just kind of. I mean, I have to admit, you're particularly charming when your drugs are on back orders.
I'll be honest, I get mean in my head. I don't think it makes it all the way out, but
I find myself getting catty at times. I did that a little bit in the art channel on Discord earlier today. And I was being catty, and I'm like, I really shouldn't do that. I try not to do that, but
We don't start
sometimes
fist.
they're just lazy artists in this world.
Mhm.
So
I have to say, we're remarkably good at not being snarky.
Mhm.
I mean, except privately. And even then, we don't snark a lot.
And sometimes
No.
it has, like, I will send messages to people like, okay, this is who I'm talking to. You know what I'm going through right now. Rejected message 1, rejected message 2, rejected message 3. This is what I actually sent. You should be proud of me, pets.
Yes. Look at how good I'm being.
I'm being really good right now. Thank you very much. I have not fallen asleep yet today.
Yeah.
well,
So
we did actually suggest letting you nap on the couch and doing the live stream while you were sleeping. I mean, you'd be part of it.
I would be here.
yeah, just be careful, Jim, because Jim just popped into our chat.
Oh yes. Yeah, so when you get the edited version, Jim, just so you know.
I mean, it's like, he's within range. So the man is not stupid. So he's like, I'll just go now.
Yeah.
He has perfected that, yes, dear. As he goes out the door.
He is a wise man.
Yes.
As anyone that's ever watched the live stream knows, but he is a wise man.
Yes. And not just a wise guy. So
You can do that too
Although
sometimes.
he could totally wear the suit.
he
could do the wise guy suit
yeah.
really easily.
Yeah, he could.
Especially when his mustache gets a little long, a little curly on the ends.
Mhm.
He can do the whole wise guy thing pretty easily.
Little wax, little mustache wax.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
That could totally happen.
He's quietly leaving the chat now.
I'm gonna go.
put his pirate patch on.
Well, yeah, it's his little because he's been getting his eyes worked on, and of course the second eye is
Hopefully.
being more difficult. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
hopefully it's getting back in focus. I was
Well.
seeing him a little more active online today, which was a good sign.
Well, he was also at his doctor, and
Yeah.
his doctor was like shaking his finger at him. So
Yeah.
So it's just we're trying very hard to find the happy,
Yes.
and because honestly. So yesterday they were on the live stream. I will share this with you guys. I mean, I moved from Oregon, the land of tax happy, and if we can't tax you, we'll make every permit as high as we possibly can, or fee, whatever.
Mhm.
I got my bill from the city for my city taxes, which for my business,
Yes.
and it is all of $90
Compared to
compared to Eugene. That was $700, and that was just the city, not the county and the state on top of that.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the back just giggling myself,
Yeah.
like, because I had just been sitting there going, how am I going to pay this bill? This is what everything. And I went, wait a minute, my taxes are only $90.
That is awesome.
It is awesome. It is awesome to live here. Absolutely
Yes.
awesome. Even if there are no trees and overpasses count as mountains. So
There are trees and there are mountains. You just have to go a little
just came
ways.
from
And they're
Baton
little
Rouge.
mountains.
I just came from Baton Rouge where they were gigantic, big, beautiful.
Look, let me have my trees.
Yeah.
I just got back from Colorado where I was driving down not a great road, and I was looking through a tunnel of trees, and over the trees you could see the mountains and the clouds, and then it was like a postcard.
Yes.
And I used to look at that every day.
We can go visit trees and mountains because we can
They will
afford to
always
because
be
we
there.
are paying less taxes.
Because we're paying less taxes and less fees. I mean,
So
yeah. So
I actually really like the big sky. I love
I do too.
getting out even just a little bit west of here where it really flattens out, because believe it or not, this is not as flat as it gets here.
No, west of here is
tiny town.
I
West
love
of
the
here,
vista.
if you go up into Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and it just it's like it opens up and it's just completely so. And I love walking out back of my house because we don't have any lights out there right now. I've got to set some up, but right now it's totally dark if you go out the back door at night. And I look up and the stars are so bright. And it's just, I really love that.
Yeah.
So,
Jim, I could see the weather coming for 3 weeks here. The
I
sky
can feel it before any of y'all
and
can see it.
feel it. We can feel it long before it gets here. We are now officially of the age where we sit on the porch and go, big toe hurts. Must be a storm coming.
It's like, I roll over, oh, fuck.
Ow! It hurts. Oh, there's a thunderstorm. Oh, okay. I get it now.
My shoulder hurts. Why oh, God.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I did like about
I
Baton
love
Rouge
it.
is they were beginning the sugarcane harvest.
Mm.
And which means
Dusty?
rum distilleries are going, no, it wasn't dusty because they harvest the field and they let
Mhm.
it dry and then they burn the field. And it
Ah.
smells like sugar cookies
Aha.
or
Yeah,
creme brulee.
When we went down there
yeah.
for the con,
Mhm.
we were smelling that.
Yeah, well, they're just starting that.
So-
And it was like, when the
And now
entire-
they're doing the Texas song in the comments. I started it. I realized that.
oh, right.
Oh.
And I like being able to see the stars, but I am slightly put off by the lack of streetlights.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we need them, but like my eyes are going.
I
don't like not being able to see where I'm going at night. So like that's
Bye, Jim. Rest your eyes.
Yeah, get off the computer. You're not even supposed to be on the computer. What are you doing? So, waggle our fingers at you.
Well, I have got to plan a road trip for the spring, probably the spring.
We should go to the Smithsonian.
No, this is actually a very specific
Oh,
road
okay,
trip.
fine.
Because my husband and I were chatting about, I asked him if he had a bucket list, and he said that he's done pretty much everything that would have been on his bucket list when he was younger in his 20s. He actually took the time and he went and did things like go to see the Grand Canyon and Mount Rushmore and all of that. And we were talking about it, and we can't afford to do the really big things that I know he'd love to do, like going to Germany. And also, I don't think that trip
Not
would
right
be
now.
good.
Not at the moment.
But the one place that he wanted to go and that he's never managed to get to and would like to is the Mogollons, because he read about it and Louis L'Amour describes it, and he's always wanted to go and see it. So I've got to try and plan a trip this probably in the spring. I don't think it's going to happen this year, and plan a road trip and figure out a way to see the Mogollons without hiking, because he can't
it's true.
he can't hike. So I need to figure out, I'm going to have to find some people in the area and kind of talk to some native guides, as it were, that can point me in ways to plan through the that particular road trip.
Sounds fun.
So, but yeah, that's the thing is I wanted to be like, okay, let's plan something fun. Let's create a little goal that we can work towards.
Yeah.
And I am feeling very, I can't do a lot of traveling for now, yes, it's okay. I can do small trips and stuff, but there's going to come a point not too distant future where I really won't be able to go very far. I need to be here.
You're a little homebound.
I'm going to be homebound for a while, which is okay. But I want to plan for having some fun stuff while I still can. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about is plan the Mogollon trip. And
Cosmic was talking about, he did a Tony Hillerman road trip a couple of years ago.
oh,
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both Sanford and I like Tony Hillerman. I bought several of his books on ebook just recently to do a reread, because I haven't done it in years.
Oh, man. Excellent writer.
And it used to be that I'd get series and I'd find what I could find at the library or used books, and it was patchwork. You never read the whole series. Well, now I can.
Now you can. The wonders of technology.
Yes.
I wonder if there's ATV tours of some of the areas where people will put you on the back of their ATV.
Little ATV run through, or someone was saying helicopter ride. I mean, that would be pretty rocking.
Yes, it would. Expensive, but probably worth it.
Expensive yet worth it.
Yes.
But I know there's certain places where they'll do the tourist rides, and it's okay. It's more than like the $5-10 I'm usually willing to spend on stuff like that. But
Ian's here. We can talk about him because he can't hear us. He's in the Raisin Farm tonight. So.
Yes, no audio.
No audio.
We're talking about you.
You lost the chat.
No, it's okay. I did that on purpose. So anyway, no, it's down here.
Yeah. So, Louis L'Amour and Tony Hillerman both are wrote and kind of had books set in that area, and it's one of the parts of the country I've never been to. So, it would be nice to take him and do a couple days and do a little road trip. But
And-
we need to plan some trips too.
Well, I have to tell you, when I was down at, I would love to go to the Smithsonian because I've never been to the Smithsonian.
My daughter's there this week.
What?
Cool.
But it
Is
has
that
to
her
be like,
class trip?
That's her.
Yeah.
oh,
She
how
saved up for a
cool.
year and a half to go on the Washington D.C. trip, and she
Mhm.
paid it off last week. So
Yeah.
she's
But I
going
mean,
this week.
I would love to go to Washington, D.C. in the
Mhm.
spring and see all the cherry blossoms. To me, that would be fabulous. Of course, our
Yes.
spring is a little packed up this year.
Holy cow!
But also, I did the calendar for Raconteur Press, and March is a walking disaster.
Oh my god!
So
Yeah,
it's just insane.
it was like we should do this in March. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Nothing more in March.
March is pretty busy, but the Smithsonian's right. I mean, it's there. There's so much there.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do an East Coast trip.
We do.
We need to do what we really need to do is we need to do an East Coast trip. Do a North Texas Troublemeters dinner meetup thing.
A couple
Yes.
of places.
A couple of places and like work our way up the East Coast.
Yeah, because I mean, we know
And
people from like
We
South
like,
Carolina all the way up to New England.
We know people from Florida. We need to go up to. We
And
need to
you
go
need to
work
go to
from
Maine.
Florida to Maine.
I need to go to Maine because that's the last U.S. state I need to visit. I
Right.
have 49 states.
So I'm thinking at some point next year we need to make a trip where we just go from Florida to Maine, and just do a
Well, see, yeah,
stop.
wouldn't that be
every
fun? And
day.
if we timed it right,
Mm-hmm.
we could do like conventions on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I think we kind of looked at a lot of the New England conventions and decided they weren't a good fit for
Mhm.
Raconteur Press.
yeah,
But
I
other
feel
than
like
that, yes.
we could do a small like Nauticon for a weekend
yeah,
where it's not
Oh,
a
yeah,
con, but
absolutely.
it's like
yeah.
I wonder how we could get for that. Like
Hmm.
that would be. We can't do it in March.
No,
No.
March is right out. But we don't actually want to be on the East Coast in the summer either because it's putrid.
Well, what if we did it in like April?
Yeah, April.
For
We could do it for your birthday.
my birthday. we could have my birth.
Oh, mad cackles.
Okay, so I'm becoming the answer next year,
she turns
Oh.
the answer. I loved being 42.
right?
I loved 42. It was the best year.
I
So we could
wanted
go-
so badly to do a big celebration for my 42nd birthday, but it just.
So we could do a Life, the Universe, and Everything party,
Mhm.
I
and
don't see why not.
on the East Coast for my birthday,
Yes.
and then
Come back for Fool's Con.
come back for FoolsCon.
We could just go on this big circle where we go gather up everybody and bring them back to Fool's Con.
I like this plan. We should
Get a
make.
bus.
We should make this plan. We should make this plan happen. I like this plan.
Mom's pointing out March in Maine is not good because it can still snow quite heavily in
Oh,
May
yeah.
and March. No, you want to go.
See, I would love to go in the autumn up to Maine and
Well,
for autumn. Yeah.
or you know what? There's another good time is June, mid-June,
True.
because the roads are lined with lupins.
Oh, yeah. See, that'd be
It's
great.
so beautiful.
I just want to get Maine
So,
before I die.
Mhm.
but June,
So-
June
Well, that's your
will
bucket
be in
Liberty Con,
Liberty Con,
and then Writers.
Writers
We'll be doing the
Cantina.
coast to coast routine in June.
Oh, good
Uh-huh.
Lord.
We're gonna go
And
to Liberty
then
Con, and then
I
we're gonna
wanna go to
fly
Writers
to
Cantina.
Provo and go to
Oh.
Writers Cantina, and like we're doing this giant circle
Yeah.
in June.
And then Son of SilverCon is moving to July 19th
What?
next year. Instead of doing it in October, they're going to be doing it in July.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
I am not
no,
kidding.
no. That's like the week before Imaginarium. Let me go look.
It was in the Discord. I was talking to Kevin about it in the Discord for next year.
No,
Yeah.
Because instead of $200 a night for the hotel, it'd be $95 a night.
Okay,
Very
so
affordable.
Well, we'll talk to Kevin about doing.
Yeah, we'll have to look at scheduling, because it's always the thing.
that's the
too,
same
is-
weekend as Imaginarium.
Ah,
They can't do it that weekend.
they can't do it that weekend. We'll go tell him.
Kevin, yeah, well, that's a whole hotel conversation.
Yeah.
It's not that easy.
It's the same weekend.
Yeah.
No.
So,
The three moms declare no. So anyway, and of course the chat's off doing whatever they want. So
well, and Mom's pointing out we have a family reunion Labor Day weekend next year. Mom,
That's
when they
BizCon.
talk
Oh.
about conventions, it's not including me. I'm going to be the stay-at-home mom.
she's the stay-at-home mom.
And we'll do the family reunion somehow. We'll see how things are going. So I should probably call you and have a conversation.
He was yelling, "What are they saying? What are they saying?" Like a little old man with a thing stuck in his ear. What? Oh,
Yes,
That's pretty
right
funny.
stories.
great story. So yeah, it's been a very interesting couple of weeks here. So
It has, and I mean the thing is that I am trying my best right now to recalibrate because it's not. There's no more return to normal because there's no going backwards. So what I have to do is look at, okay, going forwards, recalibrate and adjust and find a way to reclaim my joy. And,
yeah, I know
and-
exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult to do these transitions.
Don't you hate that?
Yes. And right now, I mean, I've got the health stuff, and then I've also got the child getting ready to move out. And oh God.
Now you understand why birds throw their chicks out of the
Swish,
nest.
swish, swish.
Literally throw them out. Done. Done with you. Get out.
So did any of you ever tell your children this is why animals eat their young?
I probably have said that, yes, or something very like that.
Because right. Yeah.
Oh,
my God. It's just,
There are times. Although,
the plans, they change like every week.
yeah.
And then there's new plans, and he expects me to research and support him, and I do love him and want to support him, but right now I want to support him moving out.
you know, here's a phrase I'm going to give you. When he says, "Mom, I need you to research this for me," it's like, you're an adult. How is this my problem?
Well, we actually had this conversation yesterday. He called me and he's like, "Did you find my immunization records?" And no, I did not, because every time I had his immunization records printed in my hands, they were being delivered to a school. So I don't have a copy of them. And he's like, "Well, can you call them?" And I'm like, "Yes, wait, no, I can't. You're over 18.
You're 18. I can't do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
You get to do this by yourself."
Be an adult.
And he did. And it was fine. He was worried they were going to have to fax things to him, and they didn't. They had ways to work around it. And it was fine. He actually managed to do it all himself, and he was very proud of himself. And I was like, you go, you.
Go you.
And
But
I don't
that's
have
you.
to do it.
Yeah.
It's been so wonderful. So Logan's always very independent and on his own. You may remember watching him walk because he didn't feel like waiting for us to get ready and at LibertyCon at one point. Because he's like, "I'm done. I'm gonna head off. It's 100 degrees outside. I know." Off he goes in a long pants and a leather jacket.
Yeah. Yes.
Because that's what
Because teenagers.
it's
He
still
was
what
still
he
a
wears.
teenager
He was
there.
still a teenager at that point. He was like 15, maybe 16.
Yeah.
And now he's 20 and he is incredibly independent and on his own, and
Which is fantastic.
It was weird having my daughter here and
Yeah.
have her be such an adult.
right?
And yet at the same time switching back into teenage girl behaviors around me.
Yeah.
Which
Oh my
was,
god, it was so funny.
It was adorable. So I'm so glad you went to the mall with her. So
That was, yes.
So, but I mean, they do these things. It's kind of like, it's weird.
I miss hanging out with my daughters.
Yeah.
And so I have tapioca pearls in the pantry that have been in the pantry for, I don't want to think about how many years. Because the girls love boba tea, and boba is Ian, don't do that to Tiffany. She's already submitted stories.
She's already submitted
Don't stress her
stories.
out.
We're done. Stop.
We've
Stop it.
accepted stories. Shush.
There's some in the queue. She's fine.
You're gonna scare her off. Don't do that. Anyhow, so the girls, I wanted boba tea is expensive, so we were trying to learn how to make it ourselves, and I had bought tapioca pearls. And they've been in the pantry for ages because it turns out one of my daughters likes tapioca pearls. The other one likes the popping bubble things.
I love those.
Which I know how to make. It's calcium alginate. It's not a big deal. It's just tedious. I am not making them. The tapioca pearls, on the other hand, I looked at them and I'm like, these need flavor because they're just straight up white tapioca pearls.
Mhm.
So I cooked them with a lime. I had a lime that needed to be used. So I cut it in half and threw it in with the tapioca pearls to try and give them some flavor. And at first I was like, these are not coming together and working. But it made me think about the fact that when the girls and I would hang out, I would always take them and we would get boba teas. And I miss that hang out and go buy boba teas or mochi ice creams or
Mhm.
whatever.
You mentioned the boba tea, and I realized that I wore my boba earrings today.
Yes.
Oh.
My daughter has a matching set.
Oh,
And she
nice.
took it with her. So, because I'm like, oh, boba, I remember, I miss boba tea. I don't get it nearly as often as I should.
Well, if I can figure out how to make the boba pearls, we'll have to get together and do
And
some
with
boba teas.
Yes.
Our thing was Dutch Brothers.
Yes.
We would go to Dutch Brothers, which everybody out here calls Dutch Bros. But for me,
It's Dutch
it
Brothers.
started where I lived. It was Dutch Brothers. And I remember having a car full of I had my Astro van because I'd been doing a show, and we had a whole bunch of bubble wands. The big
Mhm.
bubble wands.
Oh, I love those.
And so we decided to go bubble all of the Dutch Brothers kiosks late one night after the show. So they were all hanging out the windows with these giant bubble wands, and we were circling the kiosks and bubbling the Dutch Brothers. It was just the best time. It was so much fun. And they're like, "You were the coolest teacher ever." It's just something we did,
Ian's chewing on the authors, Dawn says. And we need to find Ian some new chew toys. So we need new authors. Y'all be out there recruiting.
He's been calling people and saying we need to talk. And if that doesn't terrify people.
Oh, that's terrifying. That's
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah. So
My son has sent me one message once of we
Okay.
need to talk. And
Okay.
I'm like, no, we don't do that.
I had a phone conversation with Jay Totten today and was talking him into writing for us. So
Yeah.
I've done my bit.
Okay, so something I just realized we need to do,
Mm-hmm.
although it might scare him just a little bit, is we need to get Dr. Mr. James Young
Mhm.
on the live stream talking about his
Yes.
Yes.
on
Absolutely.
about his upcoming anthologies with us,
Yes.
and how he is not the gynecologist. So,
That was the best conversation ever.
ever.
That poor waiter.
Okay. Do we want to get JY on the broadcast or on the live stream? Because
Broadcast. We want to broadcast.
Oh yes, because that could be
Because
fun.
he's not generally available during the day.
Right.
So,
So
Yeah.
so Mr. Totten, you need to come visit. So,
Yes.
So
um
you need to come visit us. So see you later, Michael. He's got to
Thank
go.
you.
He's going to go initiate people.
he's
into a
going to
first group.
initiate people into the Order of Eagles. Okay. But also recruiting authors. Keep that in mind.
Yes. No. Mr. Dr. Young has had the unfortunate experience of standing still next to us at conventions
More than once.
more than once. Huge mistake. Big mistake. Don't ever do that. So. Oh my goodness.
And
Yeah.
we talked about pen names at one point. And that
So I
was
will tell you,
beautiful.
Jim, your geography, I understand exactly where you are because I was a West Coaster and I know where you are and what it's like up there. So
Yes.
and
And
you
I've
have
also
my
lived in
abject
that
sympathy.
area.
So
Yeah.
And in
he
your
should know
presence-
Eric.
He should know
He should
Eric.
meet
He needs to
Eric.
meet Eric.
You need to meet my first ex-husband.
There are a few
So-
things that are more fun than matchmaking friends.
No.
I got to do that today with Maggie Hogarth and DJ Butler. And I love both of their work and the fact that they had met each other and had forgotten to exchange email addresses. Like, I can fix that.
Yes. No, Jim, my first husband, Eric Wingren, lives about, half an hour south of Longview, Washington.
He's in Toledo.
He's in Toledo. Great guy. You guys would have so much fun talking to each other.
Oh my God,
Oh my
yes.
God. Can you imagine two of them together? So yeah, great guy. Wonderful.
Mhm.
So, but you two need to get together just for self-defense of living in Washington. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Good person to know. Very good person to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that really, connecting the odds
Yes.
is a fun thing to do because there's not a lot of us geographically we're spread rather thin. Okay, except for the clump of us in tiny town, but that's a whole other.
And we keep attracting more of them.
Yeah,
It's like gravity or magnetism. We have great magnetism.
It's like
we have 602 people in North Texas Troublemakers.
it's coagulation. We're coagulating.
Wow, I just went all the wrong places with that.
You get enough of them together and they start attracting more. It's like that's how that works. It's like osmosis ish. The other thing.
Kind of.
They're not all authors in North Texas Troublemakers. A lot of them are readers. Readers are important too. So if you can't recruit authors, recruit readers.
Well, no, it's just those of the same mindset. So, but yeah, we hit 600, and I was like, wow.
I remember when we hit 500, we're like, holy crap, we did it. We're like,
Right?
wait
what?
a minute.
No, we went from like 105 to like
Yeah.
400 in the space of like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was a little insane. We're clotting. That's what she said.
Okay. So we are clotting because we're stopping the bleeding.
Yes.
Clotting has purpose and scabbing
We do
has
have a
purpose.
few EMTs floating about.
And we do have
do.
some
And some
things.
nurses.
And some nurses.
But the what's making me think of that as a metaphor right now is the Larry Correa quote that I was reading to you
this
guys.
is a really good quote. So
this is Larry Correa from an interview somewhere. I don't know. It was being
just
quoted.
it dropped today. Yeah.
Okay. It was being quoted, and I loved this. And he says, "A giant contingent of our society enjoys forcing creatives to get in line. They're not in it for the stories or the art. They're in it to be bullies." And that is something that, as odds and creatives, I think we've all encountered that. They want us to make art, but only their way in their approved manner, and that changes constantly. I was reading Elizabeth Peters' Vicky Bliss series.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which are from the 1970s.
Yeah,
and part of the way you can tell is that they smoke like chimneys through the whole thing. But she talks about, there's a great quote I grabbed from one of the books that just struck me because of the whole conversation around gender and stuff right now. And this was just hilarious because she's talking about scholarship. And the quote is, "The living entity has gender, the dead are neuter." And I was like, wow.
I love that. That's great.
But also she was a mainstream, very big author.
She was
at the time, and this would have been, I don't know, 70s, early 80s, maybe. And you can see how things have shifted in the time since then. So it's constantly moving goalposts to have the art be approved and in vogue, or however we want to put that.
Okay, so weirdly, this ties into a conversation I was having this weekend about how, and Jay just talked about weird gatekeepers for traditional publishing. Because it used to be there was no way in except through those gates.
Yeah.
And the fences exploded like 10, 15 years ago.
The fence just fell down. The gates are still there.
The gates and they're still standing in the gate going, no, you don't. And we're like, yeah, whatever. We're going. And there's been this massive explosion and of people getting out of line. Quite literally getting out of line and just going their own directions.
Yes.
It's been a marvelous explosion of creativity. So, because we don't have to be in line anymore.
Well, and Sarah, one of our Rack Press editors, was talking about how she she is hot stuff. She's so much fun.
We adore her.
But she was talking about how she's got.
I'm unassuming. Little did you know that she would shank you at the first opportunity. So
tiny but mighty.
Tiny but mighty and Samoan and damn dangerous.
Yes. And that's without even getting into her husband, who's backing her up with all the weaponry. But she was saying that she loves working with us because all of the traditional publishing no-nos, she doesn't have to listen to them. And you, as an editor,
know what they are?
I know she didn't specify, but I knew what she meant.
Yeah, I know.
I probably will ask her at some point. But I know that you, as an
Mhm.
editor for this very non-traditional press,
Yeah.
have been able to do some things.
Yes. It's honestly one of the things I really like about what we do and how we do things is that I can go, something that other people wouldn't have bought because I know and I know exactly why they wouldn't have. I can say I love that story. Mine now.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. When they actually answer the goddamn emails.
I actually sent 2 out this morning because I'm like, wait. I have to send an email about this because like I have several stories that I really liked, but they all have the same name for the same gun shop in the story, and I'm like, guys, let's
Change the name.
let's change the name. Inspired by, not a direct description of. But no, I've done some stuff that would have been unthinkable in in traditional publishing.
Oh yeah.
Like the Malta anthologies to begin with.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
nobody would have done those. And the fact
No.
that I've been able to be, for some of our themes, multi-genre.
Yeah.
Because you don't, genre is a marketing tool, and part of our struggle, but also part of our appeal, is that we are not pigeonholed into a very specific spot.
Yeah.
And that's part of our struggle, is that we're reaching for a wider audience than we typically would be. But part of the appeal is that we have a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And because we're able to do that, we've put out a couple of anthologies where a lot of the reviews are like, you usually get an anthology and there's 1 or 2 stories that you don't like in it. And I liked everything in this anthology.
See, that's been fun.
And that's something that you don't always get.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
love doing that.
And a good anthology should be like a box of chocolates, where the filling, the chocolate coating is your theme of your anthology. The fillings, though, should be all different. What we want to avoid is having all the fillings be the same.
Yeah.
And we also want to avoid chocolate-covered Brussels sprouts, because nobody's going to be happy about that.
Ew.
Right? Have you seen somebody, there's a picture going around the internet, somebody dipped a Brussels sprout in chocolate and then cut it away to show. And it was like, if you chocolate dip a Brussels sprout, it looks like a truffle. So that's a very unpleasant surprise to bite into.
Well, the people who did the instead of caramel apples, the caramel onions.
Oh, I mean, maybe with one of the really sweet
A sweet onion would be an interesting combination. But I mean,
But like they had caramel apples, they had onion, they had apples that they had caramel on, and they had onions they had caramel on, and you got to pick, and you couldn't know which one it was.
ask me how I feel about tour books.
Yes, that's exactly how I
It's a
feel about
caramel
Kortnee.
covered onion.
Yep.
It's just like,
And maybe there's people out there that like that, but that's not our audience.
Nope.
And
but there's so many people who will do that. They'll put the candy coating on it, but like, I'm tricking you into eating, vegetables. You take one bite and you're like, oh,
ew.
that's awful, and they don't get any of the rest
Never
of it.
buy that again.
They're not tricking them into doing something. They are, because they're like, oh, this is good for you. This will make you a better person. This will teach you something we think you need to know. It's like, I hate that.
it's one thing to put out the veggie tray. It's another thing to dip the veggie tray in chocolate and pretend that it's dessert.
Exactly.
So, and
Now that should be on a T-shirt. I mean, that's a great quote. So I like that one. I like that one a lot.
Well, and I mean, sometimes the PTSD anthologies are unabashedly message fiction.
Well, of course they are.
Because the message in those is hope. And oh my gosh, speaking of hope, go read Sam Robb's Substack. It's called Perception.
Oh man, yes.
October number 17.
Okay, I have to catch
The
up.
man nails it. Oh my gosh. But I digress, because hope is one of those things that kept me afloat through some really dark times. So, but I've never tried to hide that PTSD anthologies are message fiction. They are supposed to be giving a message of hope and healing, that it's possible. And I think that those are worthy messages, but I also wasn't going to dip them in chocolate and go, oh, these are entertainment, because they're heavy reads. They're hard.
Well, a lot of the stories we did for our All Will Burn, we got a lot of really heavy ones.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of, I don't know if any, I'm not gonna say it was my favorite one.
I'm gonna say Jim showed up and he said, "Okay, I'm reading All Will Burn, cats, dogs." I was like, and there you go.
Yes,
Because the one that the Cassasun sent in was like, this is exactly what I was envisioning for the lighter
Yes.
vision of that. Wally's, where it was the two dogs fighting off the coyote. And
Yeah.
I'm like, right after the puppies were born. Like,
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
It was very much because the scary things that adults will do to protect their kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then but then there's also the J. Kenton Pierce's
Whoa.
right? That
Damn.
was
yeah.
was super hard, but it was also it's super entertaining and it was very good.
Oh, such a
Right.
great story.
Well, and that's the thing too,
And
is
he
that
called his mom because
we
we put
talk
it on the
about-
cover.
we talk about leavening. So when you leaven bread, you're making it fluffier. You're giving it air. You're raising it up. And so you're leavening the really heavy stories with the lighter stories. You're
Mhm.
giving it some fluff because that's a better texture
Yeah.
in bread.
When it's when you and it's something I got from Sir Terry. Be serious, but then for God's sake, tell a joke.
Yes.
Because you have to you can, if you pile on and pile on and pile on and pile on and you don't tell that joke, then you're going to send your readers into a spiral of
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
but you God's sake, tell a joke. And it doesn't have to be a funny joke.
Mhm.
It just has to be just enough to break that tension,
Break the tension
Yeah.
a
and give
little.
them
Give
a
them
rel-
some
a
relief.
release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And Sir Terry is a great one to study for it. And because the man has so many layers. I mean, talking about onions, just layer after layer after layer. You can go back and reread his
He's
stuff
more like a
over and
redwood.
over.
Oh my God,
He's
I
more
have,
like a redwood with growth rings. So
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be honest,
wow.
I have reread Night Watch more times than I can actually. I may have reread it more than Pride and Prejudice at this point,
Yeah.
and it makes me cry every time, and I
Mhm.
always find more depths in it.
Yeah.
Thud for parents.
Fuck.
Thud for parents. It's
Yeah.
just absolutely, you must, especially if you have young children.
I bought a copy of Where's My Cow for Logan, and nobody else understood why I cried every time I read it to him.
Oh.
But yeah, it's one of those things of I mean, we can have these goals that we want to work towards, but we need the feedback from the readers
Mhm.
to really let us know if we're nailing it. And I mean, the feedback that I've been seeing is that people are liking them, that people are
Yeah.
recommending them.
Yeah.
So that is what I want to see out there, because we need that too for growth. I mean,
Mhm.
if we're gonna sell anthologies and pay our authors and make this whole thing worthwhile, we've got to recruit more readers.
Yep.
And
We need more readers.
so yeah.
And we're working on that. We have a good
Yeah.
plan for this coming year on how to
Mhm.
do that. We're reaching out to different areas and different
Mhm.
growth opportunities and
Yeah,
Yeah.
coming up
And
with some marketing ideas,
doing more marketing and
yeah.
I'm doing an interview tomorrow.
oh, that's right. You
Cool.
should talk about that.
yeah.
So I'm doing an interview with the authors and books sci-fi and fantasy podcast, I think is
Cool.
what the whole title is.
Mhm.
Scott Walker, who's one of the guys who's on there, was in the indie capstone class with me. He does urban fantasy. Did a really fantastic urban fantasy series
Nice.
called the Little Yokai series.
Ooh, I'll have to look that up.
And it's quite good. He's starting a new shared world series with some other people. And he asked, I need someone who's got a new release for a science fiction or a fantasy book, and because I've got some open slots for interviews, and I'm like,
Yeah. Why not?
why not? I'm like, does this count?
Yeah.
He's like, absolutely. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go on and talk about or All Will Burn, the
Mhm.
upcoming Moggies in Space 2.
yes.
Oh my Lord.
I've
And
got
Maggie's first one just keeps selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just keeps
Cats,
going.
Spaceships.
Cats in
What's
space.
not to love?
Yeah. Talk about my release that's coming out for Christmas.
Yay.
So I'm gonna put my Christmas story out for Alien Brides this year.
Yay.
Nice.
Missed last year,
Yeah.
and
We were busy.
I was a little busy.
There was stuff
Yeah,
going on.
Just a
We
bit.
can't go backwards. We can only go
We
forward.
go forward.
Yeah.
So,
So gonna go and talk about that, and
Excellent.
it's it's one of the things that I'm trying to people who do the interviews and do stuff like that. I'm trying to get them in touch with some of our authors. Like, hey,
Mhm.
do we know these? Like, you need people to interview. I know all of these people. Can I get
Yeah.
you in touch?
Mhm.
Like, I need to go tell people about Maggie's Kickstarter because she's halfway through
Oh
it.
yeah.
oh yeah.
And her
and she was saying she didn't think she's going to hit any more stretch goals. Let's see what we can do.
MCA.
That's
hold on,
kind
if
of my
you guys are
thought.
asking.
So,
So,
like, we don't have anything coming out this week, so we
Mhm.
should probably go mention her Earthrise. It's
Yeah.
the 10th
Yes.
anniversary of her Earthrise.
And she's doing some really fun add-ons for that Kickstarter.
Yes,
So
and then
yeah.
now Maggie's great people, and she's very tiny, and she met DJ,
DJ
Butler,
Butler,
who
who's
is
like
very tall.
6'8", and
Oh.
it wears a hat.
and wears a hat that needs a feather.
It does need a
his pirate
feather.
hat needs a feather. Although it's his colonial hat, it's not really a pirate hat, but it still needs a feather.
Yes, tricorn.
And I was telling her about when we had lunch at 20 bucks 50K, and Dave sat down across from me, folded his gigantic legs underneath the table, sort of like a Great Dane trying to get his gigantic feet tucked in. And we were there with Dave West, who's shorter than me, and I'm not tall. I'm only 5'4". And I looked at Dave and I was like, God, it's so good to look at you and not be seeing your nose hairs. So,
And he's such a nice guy.
such a lovely man in
Oh.
so many ways.
And he's brilliant, and his books reflect that. I mean,
Yes.
the
Well, he's
level
a
of
lawyer,
scholarship in
and,
that man.
you know, I mean,
Well, yeah, no, but he's just really interested
He's
in
an interesting
the
man.
mythology and
Yeah.
stuff. So
he's fun.
fascinating stuff.
We know a lot of really cool people.
We do.
We do.
I
This
mean,
is why-
you know, and we've been collecting up all these cool people all year.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, the whole Alpha Mercs gang and
Yeah,
We
just-
really love you guys. By
we
the
really
way,
love you
And that's
guys a
when you're
lot.
on here.
And
Some of them are, yes.
yeah,
Um,
but I mean, we've been through Raconteur Press and the people who've been submitting.
mhm.
We've found some really wonderful new odds to add to the collection.
Yes.
So-
yeah, and some fantastic authors.
Oh,
It's just
man,
been
just
great watching
cool.
them grow into being more confident
Yeah.
and submitting more stories to us. And
Yes,
And submitting
Yeah.
reading stories other places.
yes,
Yes.
Getting their feet under them to
yes,
go forth and do more.
yes.
Like we cannot we cannot save the publishing industry on our own as much as I occasionally would like to.
but
you know what though?
we can
It's
be
not my
we can
job.
be the
We are a
fuse.
spark in the wilderness.
Yes, we can light the fuse.
Mhm.
It's not an oncoming train.
It is not oncoming.
It's
Well,
just the three mobs of the apocalypse.
Upcoming explosions.
well, we started the campfire. We're singing the songs. You're welcome
Yeah.
to come and start your own. We will give you a light to light your own.
Yep. Here, take this chunk of fire and go over there.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like
I like blowing things up. I get to do it
I
on
do
covers
too.
all the time. I get to do it today on covers. Do explosions.
I
Very
like to blow things up
explodey.
for real, and we keep getting more of these like
Oh,
guys coming to write with us who blew things up in their previous life. And
Which
I'm
is
just
awesome.
delighted by this.
It's so much fun.
I will say, I went and did something this last weekend that I was very happy about. I was stiff and sore for 2 days afterwards, but I went to the range and,
good for you.
and shot about 80 rounds through my little 22 pistol because I used to be a decent shot and then didn't do it for years. And funny how these kind of things just go away.
Did you see that case over there? That little
Yes,
black case? That's my
yes.
little 22 plinker rifle that my brother gave me.
Mhm.
It needs to be sighted in.
We need to get you to the
We
range
should go to the
too.
range. So
I can take a guest. So,
Uh-huh.
but I will put about 80 rounds, and the last one was a nice tight grouping,
excellent.
and I was very pleased with myself. But I did not realize how much holding a little pistol up for
Mhm.
almost an hour
oh
because
yeah.
I was being so slow.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to learn how to shoot left-handed because I can't hold my arm up that long.
Well, you don't
It's-
have to.
yeah.
I mean,
My
I was deliberately pushing myself because I need the practice. I
Yeah.
need to get better. I want to do this.
Yep.
So I was being very slow and taking my time and dropping my arms and resting and then coming back up, making sure my thumb wasn't where it wasn't supposed to be, because that's one thing Jim is always like,
Yes.
you're decupping, or you're got your thumb in the wrong place. So a hand placement, making sure that I'm
You know,
leaning forward, not leaning back. There's so
if we
many
could work
little
it out,
things.
we need to do like a once a
So-
month range trip when
Yes.
Ben comes up.
Yes.
We just all go have a range
Yeah,
day.
no,
So,
absolutely. And the outdoor range where I was, I got there on Sunday because Saturday didn't work for me.
mhm.
And I got there right as it opened at 1 p.m. and there was nobody else. It was just
Nice.
me.
Mhm.
It was a beautiful day for it. And then I had been there for like half an hour, and a guy showed up and set up over in the rifle range, which was fine because he's quite a ways away from me. And then right at the end, 3 people showed up and started to set up there in the pistol range with me. And I was like, all right, too many people. I'm done.
Time to go.
I'm leaving now.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I went in Colorado and I to go. Cause it had been a minute, and I'm like, I was there for 15 minutes. And that was all the time I got in because I couldn't do it. So I need to figure out how to do it the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well-
we were talking about building up muscles for it. And I got some dumbbells.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take the dumbbells and start practicing just like holding and just going up and down like that so that I can get those muscles worked out. Because I was
Mhm.
sore. I
Mhm.
was like, whoa. So yeah, I need to do that. And then I'm going to have to start figuring out what holster works for me so I can actually draw and fire, because
Yeah.
that's the next step. So yeah, we've got to do more training and pursue hobbies and things that are
Mhm.
fun. Not
You
just
mean have a life outside of work?
yes,
Does that really exist?
it does.
It does.
I mean,
It
this is
can.
why I have a new camera
Mhm.
and why I
Just-
went to the range.
I was so tickled at what Logan wanted for his birthday. He wanted to see his mom,
Mhm.
Oh,
and then he wanted to go and be in the mountains by himself where nobody could talk to him and nobody could turn off his phone. Okay.
I'm with him on that
So
one.
we had dinner, and I hung out and saw my kid, and then he went to church, and then he went to the mountain and turned his phone off for the rest of
so
the day.
when I was down in Baton Rouge, Bart took me to his favorite little neighborhood bar, which was within walking distance of their house.
Of
Which
course.
I'm like, there is so much amazing stuff right within walking distance of their house. But it was like you walk in and so much ink on everybody. It was like fabulous, and it's just a bar with a big room and then an open patio with big fans outside. And I swear to God, there were like 4 or 5 people there smoking their cigars, reading their books
Mhm.
out
Love
on
that.
and
Yeah.
drinking cocktails. There was good music playing, and I was like, we don't have this place. Well, actually, here is that place currently, but this is where I work,
Right.
But we don't have that spot.
Yeah.
know?
I think there is a spot. We just haven't
found
found it yet.
So
Because by the time we get, it's okay. We should go out and do something. Really, I want to put on my comfy pants. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I have to put clothes on. It's,
Yeah.
but it's finding that spot.
Yeah, and our local coffee shop, the Duck, isn't really a good cozy
Frank and
sitting
Joe's is better.
spot.
Frank
Frank and Joe's by our house is better.
Oh, okay.
It's more cozy. So.
Yeah.
I like the
But
Duck's
the
coffee.
chairs aren't great. Like
Well,
none
no,
of
not
like
there.
None of the chairs are great.
Right?
It's,
Yeah.
they're
We'll
not
keep
good
looking.
places. Yeah,
We'll keep looking.
we need to find a bar. Honestly,
need a bar.
I need a bar.
We need a bar.
I am not
That is not
familiar with
here.
bars.
So, I mean, we have a bar, but not the right bar. Oh, I have a new tiki mug at home.
Oh,
An actual Trader Joe's tiki mug. Yes. So
Oh, fun.
bar. I will say, when I worked at the mental hospital, there was an entire floor opposite of my little office space that was
Mhm.
closed. Nobody was in it because they wouldn't fund the floor. So I kind of turned one of the storage rooms into my own personal little lunchroom tiki bar. With
I love
interesting
it.
decorations and stuff. And the security guys found it, and they started hanging out there with me. And I couldn't have alcohol in there, but we had our coffee mugs and things, and a little extra fun decoration stuff in there.
Mhm.
And I hung Hawaiian shirts up on the walls, and because I'd get them through the clothing department. And
Yeah.
but yeah,
yeah. Don, you need to come down and help us trial run bars.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
we need
if we
one of
ask
them.
if we ask the boys what bars are to go to, they will lose their mind and insist on
coming with
us.
Oh my God.
I'm also a little dubious about the whole bar thing, just because I've been in a bar. Sanford took me into a bar for research, and it was a dive bar, and
those are the best.
and
Those are
there
so
was
much
no.
fun.
Well, we went in at an hour, and there was actually nobody else there but the bartender, and then we had a lovely chat about catfish and frying catfish. She and I
Okay,
did.
so I have to say the Irish pub gay biker bar in Chattanooga that we took
Sounds like
James
fun.
Young to talk to him about editing for us. He's like, you guys,
we know how to show him a good time. What can we
We
do?
do.
I'm sorry I wasn't there for that one.
No, it was me and Rita and Ian. He was like, seriously, this is where we're gonna have this conversation. And we're like, food's good, people are happy, and they're all cute. And they're looking at you, honey.
Yeah. I'm never going to recreate the bar I loved in Colorado, so
No.
I have to go find what's good here. And there's good places here. I know there are
We
because
just haven't found them.
we just haven't found it.
Okay, you know what we should ask Ian which bars, because he can't listen to us, to not go to
And then go to those ones.
and go to those.
Here, and I was sitting here thinking it's too bad we don't have a nice bookstore, because I could go for a bookstore with comfy chairs.
Well, we have Books A Million, but
Yeah,
Not bad.
it's okay.
no, that's not the kind of bookstore.
No.
No.
There's the upstairs bookstore at Alley Cat Antique
Ooh,
Place.
That's
okay,
true.
yeah.
There's no coffee there, but we can
No.
take our own coffees and go sit up there because
True,
there's
yeah.
chairs.
True. Yes.
And it might be actually pleasant enough to do that when it's not 105 degrees outside.
Right.
Yes, and it's
Yeah.
130
Actually, it's
upstairs.
about that time we can start
We can
shopping
do
there
this.
again without dying.
Just in time for all of us to leave town.
Okay,
So,
so for those of you that don't know, Alley Cat is this huge industrial
Warehouse,
building that's
yeah.
been turned into an antique mall,
that is
and there's
on
what,
steroids.
3 floors
There's like
It
3
is
floors, and
massive.
it's rambling and huge and massive.
and absolutely no air conditioning.
Nope, they just open the windows and turn on the fans.
And
And-
so in the summer, it's brutal in there.
It's absolutely brutal. You just don't, they close on hot days because
Yeah,
you can't even go upstairs without
No.
frying.
no.
You know, unless you want to do sauna.
Yeah.
So
But they're the ones that had the Bow Chicka Bow Wow couch.
About
And-
Chicka Bow Wow couch. Yes,
Yeah.
it was amazing. And it had
Yeah.
like
like, do
dog-eyed
not-
jackets laying on it.
Do not shine a black light on that couch. It lived through the 70s.
I mean, somebody lost their big gold chain with the big medallion on it in the couch cushions.
I'm not
And there's
sticking
chest
my hand in
hair
there.
all over that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's
Because it's the
Great movie
indestructible orange
Oh my
upholstery
God.
that would grab your little hairs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Sanford describes having a
Ah.
industrial orange shag couch in
Yes.
Germany
Yes.
that evidently took like 4 of them, GIs, young GIs, to
Mhm.
move,
Mm-hmm.
but they moved it with them more than once because it was so comfortable.
Yes. And they're
But it
indestructible.
sounds like it was hideous because it was that
This was the-
international orange.
Yep. It's the. It was epic looking at this thing. It was like,
Oh.
wow.
It
The
was
stories that
it
couch
was
could tell.
round and it had a round ottoman in the middle of it, and there was they had the oh my god.
And they even had the throw pillows,
yeah.
which were terrifying. So, I mean, all of it was just like,
Mm.
and this was in a sunken living room.
Mom
all day, too.
suggests a bookstore / coffee shop / diner. Yes.
You and what lottery winnings?
Right.
So,
We were working very hard to get Kat to move down here to open a place to do breakfast.
yes, my daughter
Uh-huh.
was like, I could. It's like win the lottery dollar. I can't pay for this.
Yeah,
So,
no, we need investors in order to set that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no. Anyway, so
Uh.
since we've gotten to the Bow Chicka Bow Bow couch, it's
Uh,
time to go.
Yes. On that note,
On that note.
we don't have anything publishing this weekend.
No, we have contracts going out for Pinup Noir too. So
Okay, so check your email, people.
A couple
Oh
people
my
have
God.
gotten emails from me about making changes.
don't make me pull this email over. Swear to God.
The thing, what's fun though, is that a lot of our people, we have at least made some kind of contact with them outside of
Yes.
their emails, so we can go and poke at them. Just every now and then we get a new author who we don't know, like, okay, where'd this one come from? Who are they?
Do we know
Do we
them?
know
Does
them?
anybody know them? I swear to God, it took 5 emails to get this guy to respond and get his contract back to me. And I had a flurry of private messages and emails. It wasn't me, was it? Did I miss something? Was it me? I'm like, I know where to find you. You're not a problem. You I can find. This guy I can't find.
Well,
So,
and I
There's
knew
a reason
where-
we invite much people to our Discord.
right, and
Yeah,
I
'cause
knew
we can
where
find
this
them.
particular author had come from, but the only contact I had was the email.
yes. So we were,
I was not.
oh God. It was just it was very frustrating, but he was also very like, I cannot believe it. It's like
It's
ugh.
okay. Just
Word
don't do it again.
apparently filtered at the irritation of the silver-haired mom. So because
Yes.
when you want to give people money, anyway.
Yes.
So-
Let me help you. And being
Okay.
paranoid is not the worst thing. Just,
No.
you know,
A little bit of paranoia. A little
Yeah.
bit of paranoia is healthy.
Not trianoia, just paranoia.
yes.
Don't need more. So
Okay, we're gonna go down the path the boys went on their live stream.
Yeah, that
I think on this
On this
note,
no, it's time,
it's time to hit the little end screen button.
Oh,
All
my
right. Well, we
goodness.
will talk to you all next week.
Probably recorded next week. So
Yes.
you know, we have our big dinner this weekend. We have our
Mhm.
quarterly dinner, the North Texas
Right.
Troublemakers here in Tiny Town.
It's
so
potluck.
It's a potluck.
If you want to come, just ping me and let me know you're going to be coming,
yes,
Yes.
and that way I can get you all the details.
Yes.
that could be so inappropriate. But anyway,
And on that
No.
note, we'll see you next time.